Hello and welcome to the next episode of Triple R podcast. This is going to be our episode 2 in the series of tech news. So, without any further ado, let's just dive right in. Nikunj is going to share his screen now and we're going to be talking about a bunch of. Don't worry, guys, Nikunj has gone for a corona test yesterday, and I'm happy to report that he's tested corona Aladdin. So Nikunj, tell us about this new M1 chip that Apple has introduced.
Well, this is system on a chip. Like basically, it's what you have on the phone, the graphics and the processing unit, everything built in. Even the RAM is built in. So third-party RAM changes are like gone from the new MacBooks, M1 MacBooks, and it's pretty fast. It's pretty fast. As we know that uh, Apple is like in the high right now with making their own silicon and chipsets in the phones, and now they've brought their A game to the laptop competition, and Intel has definitely taken a hit.
For the longest time, Apple was stuck with the Intel chips in its MacBooks and iMacs. Apple has basically eliminated all the third party involvement into their business. Like before the introduction of M1, I think Intel's chipsets for its laptops was the only thing which Apple did not do on its own,
Yeah,
like
like last
production
year,
wise.
yeah, with production and also with the performance. Like last year's MacBooks with the Intel Core i9, there were a
Yeah.
lot of throttling and heating issues with those laptops, but this time it's even faster. It's powerful. It's giving more battery life, and it's also not heating up the whole system.
Yeah, so
So
talking about the major improvements in with the introduction of M1 chips. So basically the battery life has been significantly improved. So the MacBooks with M1 chipset, the MacBook Pros with M1 chipsets now gives about 20 hours of claimed battery life, and the MacBook Air gives about 18 hours of claimed battery life. Now Apple says it lasts for the entire day, but that basically obviously depends on your workflows. Apart from that, yeah, the processing speeds, the horsepowers of these laptops are on a new level, setting up new benchmarks
yeah,
for its rivals such as Intel's and AMD's. The introduction of M1 chips by Apple basically allowed them to bring more apps to the Mac than ever, as the website says. So basically, the Mac OS with the Big Sur software update plus the M1 ARM-based chips, now you can run basically not any, like most of the iPad and iPhone apps on the MacBooks. So their makeshift approach to how the users can use the non-native Apple apps is by using Rosetta 2. So this is
yes.
basically a emulator which convert the Intel-based apps codes to the MacBook's Xcode. And from the reviews of what we have heard, it is doing a pretty good job, and there are very little complaints. There are complaints though that not all the apps are supported on the MacBooks, especially the Android development IDEs. Yeah, so that's about it. Would you like to add
I
something?
mean, yeah, it's Apple, so definitely all the developers will update their apps for whatever new thing they come out, even if it's stupid or whatnot. So yeah, this is the M1 chipset. Pretty big news. Pretty big news for Apple. Pretty big news for Intel.
Yeah.
Or I'd say bad news for Intel, as they're being dominated by AMD in the Windows market, and now in the MacBooks they're being punched
Basically
by this M1.
eliminated.
Yeah, not eliminated. They're still there, but yeah, over time they will completely shift to M1.
Yeah.
For the next story, we have the AirPod Max, the already infamous AirPod Max, which come at 550 USD for just a pair of headphones. Like it's not even like the highest end what the music producers or artists would use for making their own music. It doesn't even have that quality. It doesn't match up to the Jinesh. Hello, Jinesh.
What the hell is Apple trying to do here by offering us a $550 headphone? मैं stuck हो गया हूँ क्या?
हाँ तो स्टक हो गया था, तेरी आवाज भी नहीं आ रही।
There are two perspectives to this. So there is the average consumer not already in the Apple ecosystem and looking for new headphones. So for a consumer like that, क्या हुआ?
कुछ नहीं, वही तो कंटिन्यू करे।
अरे
अरे
okay, so for a consumer like that, it will be ridiculous to even look at headphones priced at around $550 when you can find good counterparts for the likes of Sony 1000 XM4s and the XM3s, which come at about half the price of the Airpods Max. But the other perspective is that if you're already so invested into an Apple ecosystem, like it will bring about a change in your, not a change exactly, but another layer of smoothness in your Apple ecosystem.
अरे कहना क्या चाहते हो?
Because these headphones have those H1 chips which allow for instant connectivity with other Apple devices. And all that being said, we cannot shy away from the fact that it also contains some good features that an headphone should have at this price point. The spatial audio for theater. So the spatial audio is kind of a novelty feature, which I think only Apple headphones have, and no other headphones has really tried something like that.
Yeah, I think
So this
it's in the AirPods Pro.
Pro,
Yeah,
yeah,
AirPods Pro and now the AirPods Max.
now in the Airpods Max. So
Mm-hmm.
the spatial audio feature is essentially when, let's say, you're consuming some content on your mobile phones or your laptops, and you try to move your head away from the center or the axis, uh, you feel the audio shifting towards the other end. So you feel that the audio is coming from the center, but you are on the side. It's a bit
Mm-hmm.
complicated to understand, but it's pretty cool.
I mean,
Uh, yeah, they just snitched away uh, the the famous crown from the Apple watches and
mm-hmm.
attached it to the AirPods Max,
I mean, yeah,
which
this crown I'd say is like really good thing because sometimes the touch features on headphones are not really that good, and this is something physical to feel when you trying to change your volume or trying to play or pause your media. Then yeah, I think this really gives like a another type of feedback. Also, you can remove the ear cups from the
so
headphones as
they are
well.
basically replaceable because you have these metal chassis for the headphones, and since they are pretty expensive, you wouldn't wish to buy a new one every time your ear cups are torn off, or just the
Mm-hmm.
wear and tear makes it look ugly. So they have given you the option of replacing these ear cups.
Oh, pretty cool. Also, these have they can connect seamlessly to an iPhone. And the worst part about this whole headphones package is
Apart from the
the
price.
apart from the price is this weird looking case.
So basically, there is no on and off switch on these headphones.
Yes, no on and off
The,
switches.
yeah, so an equivalent to an off switch is putting these headphones into that case, and then it goes to the low power mode. Otherwise, if you don't have the case or you use it, you just listen to music and put the headphones aside and go, it will just drain your battery as if you were listening to music.
And the weird thing about this whole design is that the most fragile part, which is this mesh,
Yeah,
is left uncovered, while the whole metal part, the well, not the most fragile part of the whole headset is in a case. Like, I mean, they should have
yeah.
designed something to cover this part also, because this can tear off easily, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sure Apple
I
the
mean, come on.
heavily regrets the dismissal or the voluntarily quitting of Johnny Ive, and what you see after that is this.
I mean, I think they had to make this kind of a case so that they can make it sound like an AirPod. AirPods, you put them in a case and then they turn off.
Yeah,
But still, it's so stupid. Oh my god! But yeah, people will, I guess, still buy it because it's an Apple.
people have actually bought all the stock, so this is basically sold out right now on the website.
You don't see a lot of high-end headphones with so many colors. Like Sony's, there will be only one color. Bose, there will be only like black. That's it. This has 5 colors, so you can choose between that. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Also, you can buy these ear cups separately for about $69.
Nice.
Next story is the newly released, most awaited game of the decade, I'd say, Cyberpunk 2077. It was announced back 7 years ago. It was announced 7 years ago. They said they'll release it whenever they feel like it. And now that now that they were releasing more teasers and stuff, the hype was building up. People were really anticipated, so much so that they thought this would change the whole gaming scenario. This would change how
Yeah.
gamings are supposed to be, how they are experienced. But what ended up happening is just people experiencing a lot of glitches and bugs in the game. And now the company has decided to refund everyone if they don't feel like playing this game, if they feel like it's just not ready yet, especially on the older consoles like PS4 and Xbox One. This thing, yeah, it requires a real big amount of horsepower. And if you don't have the latest graphics card, or if you don't have the latest console, then yes, this will definitely heat up and most probably run at single digit frame rates. Because my god, imagine them releasing such a high end game 7 years back. It just won't work. My god.
Yeah, I mean, while that's true, and we can conveniently sit here and roast the team that made the game, it is also necessary for us to look at it from the makers of the game, their perspective essentially. The hype for this game was so incredibly exponential in nature that anything you would put out to the world, you will have to face some backlash because you
Yeah.
can. The hype was so incredible that you could never meet those expectations. Is
Hmm.
what I'm trying to say. So I think this is a good move or an appropriate thing to do by giving up refunds to the customers who are not pleased with the game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so basically that is it. Also, as on a side note, the stakeholders in the company which makes this game,
CD Project
CD
Red.
Project Red, yeah, they have lost about $1 billion in valuation after the refunds was announced.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's pretty sad, but
it's
I
sad and
mean,
it's upsetting to see that people just hype up a game and then when it doesn't meet the expectations, they just roast it. Like they waited. They were developing this game for 7 years. They knew it wasn't ready. Why rush a
yeah,
company to release a game when clearly it's still like probably a few months left for its completely bug-free experience. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I think there's about only one bug which is which like breaks the game, but all the other ones are minor and they could easily be fixed with some software or some
Mhm.
updates in the game.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the situation isn't as bad as it seems.
ये भी ठीक है.
And the stock markets, that has been a very hot topic to talk about after the after the market crash in March when the when coronavirus was declared as a pandemic. So as you can see on the chart on March 23rd, the Sensex. So for the people who do not aren't familiar with what Sensex really is, so Sensex is an index in the Indian stock market or the BSC, Bombay Stock Exchange. So this index consists of 30 blue chip companies, for example, Reliance Industries, Mahindra and Mahindra, and so on. So it is an average representation of top 30 companies of India. So right from March 23rd, like March 23rd, the Sensex was at its lowest at about 25,981 points. And after that, there has been a slow recovery uh, from there. And all of a sudden, like this wasn't anticipated that the recovery would be so quick, but the Sensex just boomed from 25,900 to an all-time record high of 40. The record high was 47,026 as written below in the high section below the graph. Stimulating factors in the market speedy recovery and reaching record high numbers could be FIIs, which are nothing but foreign institutional investors. So investors from the abroad are investing in the Indian stock market. Uh, Other than that, just the single biggest factor would be the news of the vaccine coming very soon, and that creates an optimistic atmosphere in the market, and it just booms. Uh, because because the stock market essentially is about 70% of it is about the sentiment of people. And so one is the vaccine and the sentiment of people, and the other is the FIIs, the foreign institutional investors. And also the third point is that since many of the people were at home for the period of 9 months, if we count till date, and being bored, I guess they started trying out the investing field. So there were record high number of demat accounts created during the pandemic months. So I think these could be the three major factors in the boom of the stock prices. Having said that, there are speculations that the market is inflated, the prices are way too high, and this could be a potential bubble which is going to burst anytime soon.
Meanwhile,
There are no evidences to support that. Nobody can predict how the market behaves. So we just have to wait and watch. But from the signs we see now, I think there is nothing stopping this market. Although it has now stagnated at about 4,600, it has been growing consistently over these months, as you could see, as you could guess from the graph.
the next day.
A bull run in the stock market leads to is that many other companies come up with their IPOs. IPOs essentially mean initial public offering. So what happens is that suppose if I own a company and I want to get listed on the Indian stock market or the BSC, Bombay Stock Exchange. So let's discuss why would I be interested in being listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So the motive can be that I want some surplus investment from people to expand my own company. So a publicly listed company is always considered more reliable than a non-listed company. So in this bull run, a lot of companies, have come up with their IPOs. So as you can see, the upcoming IPOs listed here, uh, Anthony Waste Handling IPO and the Bector Foods Limited or Ceramica IPO. These two IPOs are the very recent about to come. So the Anthony Waste Handling IPO will be close date is for 23rd December and the lot size is of 47 shares. Also the Bector Foods Limited close date is 17 December. So the close date is already over, and I'm not sure of the listing dates, but it is going to be listed in about a week or two. Yeah, and the very successful IPOs that has recently come was Burger King and the Gland Pharma IPO. The Gland Pharma IPO, I guess, was listed at around, yeah, so the issue price was around 1500 rupees, and I think the current price is at around 2300 rupees. So that's again a significant amount of gain. So yeah, the major takeaway is that IPOs usually come in bull markets because everybody is optimistic about the markets and everybody is optimistic about their gains, and they would try to invest in companies or try to buy IPOs of companies they feel which can give them good returns. Yeah, so that was it for this episode. We tried to keep it short and simple, and we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you.